sharing, uneducating, and talking about ADHD, addiction, all of that fun stuff. It is one of my passions, one of my joys. I do go live on TikTok a decent amount. I keep trying to get myself down to where I go live on YouTube a lot more. It is something I kind of struggle sometimes reminding myself to do. But I do enjoy lives on YouTube. I think it's great. I do enjoy sharing on YouTube, and so here I am for probably about the next, at least 30 minutes to maybe an hour, sharing the best that I can on just, overcoming addiction, struggles with addiction. I mean, I will say this: getting into the right therapy was huge in my sobriety. Um, First couple years I was sober, man. I didn't even want to be sober. Like, I hated being sober. I was an angry person. What's up, Minecraft? How are you? Um, you hop from TikTok, nice. Hey, I like it actually over here a lot more on YouTube, just because of the sole fact that YouTube is a lot more freedom of speech. And so I can actually be a lot more real on YouTube than what I can be on some of the other social media platforms. Because I think when you're talking about mental health, and I think you're talking about, the shit that we go through as an addict, or the shit that we go through in life, the more real that you can be, the more important that it is. You did Xanax last week. I think I should stop because it blacked out. Yeah, I mean, you probably blacked out from Xanax because you mixed other stuff with it. Typically with Xanax alone, you're probably not going to black out unless you maybe OD'd on it a little bit. But other than that, like, you typically on Xanax, unless you're mixing alcohol with it, which is actually the deadliest combination of drugs, like, it's not even speedballing or anything of that sort, that just destroys with you. How do I stay consistent with sobriety is I work on it every day. Like, it's a big part of my life. Like, I may not be going to meetings and stuff every day, but it is one of these that I'm like, you know what, fuck this. Like, it is so important to me that that's what matters. Um, I'm trying to get sober on my journey from coke addiction to sober. Way to go, man. It's hard, dude. And that's the thing, is like, a lot of people don't, like, we don't give ourselves enough credit getting sober from coke, of how real coke addiction is. Because the reality of coke addiction is it leads a lot of people to a pipe. That's where coke addiction escalates. That's why you don't see this scary, sad side of cocaine addiction. You just see this rich side of it, because coke is expensive. It's not cheap. You don't see it to the side of when you have lost everything, you're broke as fuck, and the only shit that you can afford is crack cocaine now, because it's going to give you that same kind of high. So you're either doing coke, or you're either doing crack, or you're either doing usually meth. I mean, that's what it leads to. Um, I appreciate that, Brad. Um, but no, it's actually extremely hard to do. To get sober from coke, because of what it does to your brain. I mean, the reality is that the dopamine tolerance that you build is high. I talk with a lot of cocaine addicts. If you go to ericbzink.com, that's my website. I do a lot of mentoring, and I do a lot with cocaine addicts. And the one thing that all of them will say is, like, man, you hit this massive low, like, the next day off of a bender, and you're like, dude, I need to get sober. That's going to be the last time. I'm swearing all this off. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh, it wasn't really that bad. And now you're looking forward to getting another bag all of a sudden. How do you stop that headache from a big amount of red kratom? Don't do red kratom. That's how. Do you have advice for psychedelic episodes? Depends on what they're from. I would say if you're having psychedelic episodes, you mean from using psychedelics? Yeah, I was nearly coke. 3 weeks sober. Yeah, no, definitely gamer. And the thing I would say is, if you're struggling with cocaine addiction, get with a psychiatrist, and probably get like a SSRI, like a Lexapro or a Prozac or something, because you're going to start struggling with a lot of depression. Cocaine. Yeah, Richard Pryor knew all about that. Greetings from Belgium. One of your oldest friends ended up addicted to heroin. It was her first time trying it. She didn't know how. Yeah, no. No, and hopefully she can. I mean, that is the reality of it, is like how addictive some of these drugs are. Like, I did coke when I was in high school, and it was never like my drug of choice or anything. But later on in life, when I did coke, my God, it became this obsession of mine. Spent 24 years on opiates, finally seeing something differently. Hey, way to go, dude. That's huge, Dreams. There's nothing wrong with using. The thing is most people can't use drugs in moderation. I mean, that's the reality of it. Most people probably don't take it seriously, but I'm trying to stop food addiction. Food addiction is real. It is. You're welcome. No, I'm trying to say I took red kratom and have one right now. Tips. I have no idea, dude. Drink water. I'm not that good at it. I got a methamphetamine prescription, but it's completely out of stock now. I feel depressed. Like, you have a methamphetamine addiction, or prescription. So, are you on dioxin? What are you on? What kind of prescription are you on? Because there's only one substance out there that is actually pharmaceutical methamphetamines, and even then, it's not the actual true methamphetamines with some of the chemicals, so some of the damage that it does. But my thoughts on weed: if you use it, use it. Videos. I'm glad that they're helping. Last December. I would get with the doctor on that. The China. Came across your channel. I was a cokehead for years. Led me to some bad paths. It does, Carl. It leads us to a lot of bad paths. How does it feel taking cocaine? Amazing. I mean, that's the reality. Is it's amazing. That's the scariest thing about cocaine. Is for 15 minutes of your life you feel amazing. And all that amazingness is here, and it fucking drops you. And it goes away, and you're like fucking a hole in your chest. And there's an emptiness all of a sudden, and there's a sadness all of a sudden. You're like, what the fuck? And the only way to get that feeling back is to do another line. And that's the fucked up part of it. Been clean for 19 years, congratulations. Am I convicted? No. Okay, that's an odd one. You just got one today, dioxin. Yeah, dioxin is methamphetamines. I'd get with your doctor. Why are they prescribing you that? That's rare prescription. I'd get with your psychiatrist, dude, and ask them to prescribe you something else. Personally. Yep, I had a doctor prescribe me benzos. My dad committed suicide. When my dad killed himself, I didn't really want to relapse on coke and alcohol because that's what I did when I went massive into that when my wife committed suicide. And so they got me on Xanax to help me with my panic attacks and stuff. It really helped me get them under control. And I was on it for about a month and a half. Go to grocery store, steal pounds of food. Stopped everything. Way to go. Do you have any idea why some people can take a drug and not? A lot of it has to do with how it makes us feel. That drug of choice, it gives us a feeling like no other that makes us feel a way that we always wish or wanted to feel. It's amazing of how it's so hard to try and explain how it gets you that way. You literally you do something and it's like pure happiness in its own fucked up way. And that's your drug of choice. You become obsessed with everything with it, from laying out lines or heating up a needle or whatever it might be, or strapping up your arm, man. That is the scary side of addiction, is it's that whole obsession. 25 days from Kratom, congratulations. You have severe ADHD, okay. Hey, I saw your press pills on TikTok and they're... is there any cheap test for them? There isn't, Minecraft, unfortunately. Like that's the worst part about it, is there isn't really good test out there to test for pills. A lot of the tests out there, like you have to crush up the whole pill and you have to run them through and because most addicts and stuff out there and people using, you don't think twice to test a pill, and it's this weird mentality we have with pills. If we get a pill, we think it is a pill from a pharmacy, which it's not a lot of times. Yeah, you can email me, network. Official@bzink.com. I'm going to be on Adderall, just videos. How you got doctors prescribe you benzos? I need it. Because I lost my dad to suicide. My dad was a really successful doctor. He sliced his neck, bled out in his car, sliced his wrist. Fucked me up a lot. My addiction really actually went up. Like my addiction skyrocketed, and I just wanted I wanted my brain to stop, man, after my wife committed suicide in 2015. And I became madly just obsessed with cocaine and alcohol. Really, really struggled. And finally I got sober. And 3 weeks into my sobriety, my dad killed himself. And so I struggled a lot with it. And so I didn't want to go back to doing drugs. And my doctor was like, hey, let's get you on Xanax so these panic attacks get under control. What do I say to people who comment sounds like an advertisement, etc.? They're just trolls. They pay my bills. If you want to know the truth, like those are actually the comments I need to pay me well. Because my shit will hit and speak to the real addicts out there. My shit hits the real addicts. I have a lot of people that do mentoring and stuff with me, and they get it. And for those people, I hope that they never suffer with addiction or any of that. You know, my dad didn't sign. No signs of depression. My dad, he was laughing on the phone with me 2 days before he did it. Not a warning sign in the world. No idea. I'm not a doctor. No, this X that keeps. It does surely get worse. Coke gets to the point that you can't stop it. Thank you. I appreciate that. What time period did Coke turn really pure to cut with random stuff? It's always been cut with random shit. It's gotten cut a lot more because of fentanyl in it. The reason that they put fentanyl in Coke is fentanyl is so addictive that it makes you more addicted to cocaine in a sense. So you're going to keep going back to that dealer and buying cocaine because cocaine isn't cheap at all. You don't realize that you're actually addicted. The fentanyl is the part that's getting you superly addicted. That's the reason fentanyl is put into Coke. The only reason fentanyl is put into Coke is money. That is the only reason. But it's always been cut. You know, it's ever since I've used it, it's always been cut. I know people back in the 80s that it's always been cut. You're going to have stuff like caffeine that's cut into it. You will have stuff like meat tenderizer that's cut into it, laundry detergent cut into it, laxatives cut into it. There's a lot of different shit that people are cutting into Coke because it's all about weight. Probably a stupid question. Do you think your use a job make more money, sort of like motivation to make more? Yeah, probably a little bit. I mean, I had to make money to keep funding my addiction. What drug did I start with? Alcohol. So hardly. ADHD meds. You probably won't get addicted to it. I don't know. But the biggest thing I will say this: if you're worried about meds, get with your psychiatrist. Get with your psychologist because I'm not one. This stuff is hardly ever cut into blow. Okay, what kind of blow are you doing? Like what's the other one? Lidocaine? Makes your mouth numb. Tell me what is cut into cocaine, then please enlighten me. Dude, I have watched people cut some of the most fucked up shit into cocaine. Hard time, yeah. Dude, it does, Carl. It fucks with you, dude. I've taken ADHD meds all my life until I quit. Kid, adult. For some it is, for some it isn't. I'm dependent on ADHD meds. I've been taking it since I was 17. I was prescribed Ritalin at 13. Was diagnosed with ADD. Was re-diagnosed with ADHD at 17. And this is back in like the 90s. And man, it was a life changer. I will say this. Anytime I ever got off my ADHD meds, I found a good way to cope for my ADHD was through cocaine and alcohol. That's the most fucked up thing. I don't ever peel, dude. Yeah, a lot of peeling on the inside of my nose. There's always peeling on the inside of my nose, but the holes up in here, like I can literally like just jam my finger right into my sinuses. There's you can feel like it's all burned and just nasty there. They are. ADHD people are more likely to become addicts, and that is a very proven fact. And something that a lot of people don't, like a lot of doctors and stuff don't, share about. And the reason that they don't share about it is I don't know why. I wish they would have. Especially alcohol. Alcohol, especially with people who are ADHD, it does slow us down. It makes us feel a little bit normal. And that's a scary part about alcohol, like addiction is a scary part about being addicted to any kind of substances being ADHD. Whoever taking SSRIs, they can have side effects. I did Molly in high school. It wasn't my thing. Do I ever? Yeah, that's it. Yep, keep moving forward. Exactly. Stopped cocaine. Private message. Unfortunately, I didn't. You're welcome, gamer. How are you? I don't check a lot of my I don't check a lot of my my DMs and a lot of my emails and stuff. I get a lot of them that come through. Have I tried shrooms? I tried shrooms back in the day. I tried microdosing even shrooms. It does help. So chronic, fentanyl isn't cut into cocaine for weight. It's cut into cocaine for. It's cut into cocaine because cocaine is addictive. It's not extremely addictive. On an addictive level, there's a reason that there's no fentanyl ever cut into crack cocaine. There's a reason that there's no fentanyl cut into methamphetamines. These substances are extremely addictive of how they are. And even when it comes to heroin, unless you massively cut it. Fentanyl, though, will make something extremely addictive. And if you watch what's happening out there now, especially, um, you really, the reason that you're seeing fentanyl in it, I've actually know a good number of people who have died from ODing now on fentanyl, and a lot of people who will talk about the fentanyl crisis that you're hitting, where it's hitting into cocaine, is making it more addictive. And it's all based off of money. It's not because of weight, but it's going to make you addicted. You're going to go through it a lot quicker, a lot faster, and you're going to go back for more. That's why fentanyl is actually in those. What is my channel about addiction and awareness? Yeah. ADHD crew. I've never done diagnosed. Almost 100% feel something's off with your life. Definitely get tested. If you haven't been tested for ADHD, I'd usually pin them in my comments of my videos and shorts. But if you go to ADHD online / Eric B Zink, a great resource to get tested. At least takes about 2 hours to get tested. It is an online test. And the whole point of getting tested is that it lets you at least know now what you're working with. That way, you're not mistaking it for PTSD. You're not mistaking it for autism. You're not mistaking it for other things. Like to actually get diagnosed and know what you're dealing with is key. Sometimes medication can help. There are coping techniques that can help. There's a lot. About dioxin. Dioxin isn't real. Eric B. Oh, that website is ADHDonline.com / Eric B. Zink. Or if you go to ericbzink.com, I think the link is there too. Dioxin isn't prescribed very often. There's only about 16,000 prescriptions a year on it, which isn't very common. It is methamphetamines. Oh no, dude, the time warp is real, man. You look back and you're like, how many years went by? Like, holy fuck. LSD bad. It can be. I mean, it can hurt your serotonin receptors. A lot of people have lost their life due to drugs, unfortunately. Unfortunately. You're welcome. Who knows you get cocaine? Yeah, your chest will always hurt. Like cocaine does damage to your lungs, and it's all into your throat. Even like the drip, that will actually cause damage to your throat, and it also can cause GERD in your stomach. Um, so it can actually jack you up pretty bad. I don't talk about dioxin much at all, other than the fact that I wasn't. I've never been prescribed it. I've never used it. So like for me to be able to share about it isn't right. So I don't share about it because I don't. I can tell you a decent amount from it of what I've learned, but that's it. Uh, Medical issues from yes, I do. Some of my nose. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. The high was different. The high of cocaine and the high of meth is a different high. Meth prevents the reuptake of dopamine, and it also produces a massive amount of dopamine. Where with cocaine, it really it prevents the reuptake of dopamine. So, I always do. This is actually how I speak. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I had lots of bad experiences on cocaine. Have I done opiates? Yeah. I've done oxys, hydrocodone. I actually really liked. I mean, I did all this when I was an active addict. I was every now and then, but it wasn't like it wasn't an obsession. It wasn't a drug of choice. I would do like a fucking two Norcos in a fucking day, and that would be it. And I wouldn't touch it again for who knows how long. Is that cheese flavored? No, it's cream soda flavored Olipop. How'd I get off? I just hit rock bottom. No, I'm not on XR. I'm on regular. Thank you, Joe. Give a higher high because it. Yeah. No, I never struggled with opiate addiction. No, it wasn't for me. I don't know, man. It never gave me the high. Like, I loved Coke. That was what I loved. Exactly. Am I Christian? No. I'm everything. I'm glad that you loved it. You get your chip tomorrow. Way to go. 68 chip. Congratulations. That's huge. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's that's a scary thing about Coke. I mean, that is the scary side effect, is that it's fucking amazing. Or 15 minutes. 15 minutes of pure excitement. And then you're left with depression, emptiness, fucking hole in your chest. You just fucking, dude, you're sad, you're just down. Like, there's so much all of a sudden. And only way you're gonna ever get that back, man, is if you fucking do another line and your brain starts to just go towards that. It sucks. I have not for ADHD. Oh man, you go ape shit just waiting for it. I am that guy. Uh, Cocaine will give you depression. And the reason cocaine will give you depression is because your brain will produce too much dopamine because it's not absorbing it in. Realize that, and it will stop the production of dopamine. Now, all of a sudden, when you're not producing dopamine, guess what? You are fucking hating life. Because dopamine is that feel-good, happy chemical. I mean, that's essentially what dopamine is. The number one, I think, most addictive drug is somebody's drug of choice. I mean, that's what it ultimately, because we all have different drugs of choice. So to say something is the most addictive drug, I couldn't say it because it's different for other people. Yeah. You hit yourself for a relapse? Yeah. A lot of people do. A lot of people relapse every weekend, and the reason you relapse every weekend is you made it through the week and you didn't. Dude, Monday came around, you didn't want to do it anymore. You're going to get sober. This time it's going to be different. And then next thing you know, halfway through the week, it wasn't really that bad. And now you're looking forward to getting a bag. And it just starts repeating a cycle. And that part sucks. All right. My wife just texted me. I am going to start cooking dinner for the family. So I'm actually going to jump off of this. I'm going to go live again tomorrow. But I do enjoy people that jump in the lives. I do appreciate you guys. And so I might go back live again tomorrow here for a bit.